We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Tua Tagovailoa in the Miami Dolphins offense versus the Los Angeles Rams, and it was a really good time to see a win. It's been a while since we've seen that. Overall, from what I saw from the offense, I thought they made some clutch plays when it mattered the most. It was weird. Like, I thought in the first quarter and the second half, overall the offense was pretty good, but the second quarter was like really, really bad. But the fact they were able to overcome that, I think, is a good sign for them. For them to go cross country on the road and win in prime time, which they've struggled with in the past, I think that actually was like a huge thing for them, like doing something different. And they're only a game and a half back from wild card. Unfortunately, they could be in a much better position if they at least won one of the 3 games in the last few weeks. But shout out to the defense. I'll have the defensive film breakdown out later today, so you'll see both of them. But like overall, really like what I saw from the team. Some negatives we're gonna break down, going across the board, seeing what happened, but I think a lot of players showed up. It wasn't even like the best offensive line's day of the game. I also saw a stat on Tua's dropbacks where he threw. The Rams played split field safety, which is at least too high. You know, it could have been cover 2, quarters, cover 6, that type of thing. Where 2 safeties were playing split field at 93% rate, the highest like ever in a game. So that's insane. The Dolphins like never faced single high. Just truly insane. I also saw a number that Tua has the highest success rate since his return, throwing past the sticks. So even though he still had his struggles in this game, I think he did enough to win, made some nice plays that you're going to see. They couldn't run the ball, which was weird. Offensive line didn't have the greatest day. I think this D-line for the Rams is just really good, so hopefully, they had their injuries. No Austin Jackson, which I think hurts the running game. No Alec Ingold either, which that doesn't help. But going to break this down first. Old bread and butter. This is very 2023 Dolphins. They still run this, obviously, but not as common this year. Or it's, the play action. Get the flow with Malik Washington. Love Malik Washington, by the way. Love how they've been using him. Flow him across like he's going to be a lead blocker. Fake the toss, then come back. Get everything to flow out of this, and then hit a window shot to Waddle. Good anticipation, timing. You can see when he starts to release this. Just finding the linebacker, fitting it between the linebacker and the safety. Hit Waddle, and he makes a nice play. Waddle had a big first drive. Had a big drop that we'll see later, but overall, nice to see Waddle getting involved early. I still want to see, some nice plays out of him, especially with Tyreek playing with an injury. Where I thought Tua really impressed was off script. He was like 6 of 6 off script for like 90-something yards when it went like past like 4 seconds. So he just made good plays. He feels the pressure. Robert Jones gets one-on-one with, I think that's Braden Fisk. He's able to step up in the pocket. Looks like the Rams are running like almost like a Tampa 2, but this safety is like the Mike linebacker, but it's bracketing Tyreek. And then Waddle's able to come open deep. Tua steps up, escapes the pocket, finds Waddle down the field. I feel like this is just where Tua has been much, much better this year, is off-script stuff. Like he's just been able to create extra time. Now, he did have some bad plays. That he had a couple. He took one bad sack, or he took 2 bad sacks when he tried to create too much off script, and had that fumble as well, and then had the interception. We'll break down, but overall was creating some nice plays when he had the extra time to get the ball down the field, and these were some of them. That was like a big 3rd down situation too, which allowed the drive to continue. And the next play, you just get the Malik Washington reverse end around stuff going on. Which, love the concept. You motion Smythe across. You also pull Liam Eichenberg this way. And it just, like, so hard to see. And when this isn't, like, Tyreek or Waddle, it feels like the teams aren't as hard defending it. But it gets to be Malik Washington. And then now you get Jones to kick out here. You get Brewer as a lead blocker. The linebackers didn't even go with Malik Washington at all. And then you get on space. Brewer kicks out this DB. Craycraft with a great lead block. Great to see River Craycraft back. This is where, he makes his money. He's a great lead blocker. And then shout out Malik Washington getting his first touchdown of his career. Definitely made some nice plays in this game. Had one of the clutch catches at the end too. So that's very, very fun to see. Here's a nice 3rd down conversion. Dolphins did a good job of this, like taking some of this stuff underneath. I feel like when they went empty, they actually had a lot of big plays in empty. Some of their biggest plays. It made things easy. Rams playing too high again. They did this a lot where they played too high, whether it was cover 2, they played cover 2 man. They played a lot of that. 2 is kind of reading this. This isn't open. everything's sort of squeezed here across the board. He takes the check off to Raheem. And I saw even the announcers talking about like that he kind of was inaccurate on this play and threw it behind him. I actually think this was a purposeful throw. I think this was actually good ball placement. Because if he leads him here, Raheem gets led right into this hit from this DB and does not get the first down. But by putting this behind him, it stops his momentum, flips his hips around, and this DB now has a poor angle, and Mostert's able to make him miss, and he gets upfield for the first down. So I actually really liked that play from Raheem there. Unfortunately, they didn't end up getting too much on this drive because this here, you look at this, Rams go cover 2 man, and nothing was really open across the board. I guess he could have potentially taken OBJ there, but it's not really open. Like 14's kind of baiting that throw. I'm not sure what the concept is. I feel like people are just sort of sitting down on the routes. Like Waddle and Tyreek aren't even really running routes. And then he just, like Jonnu's not open. He just checks it down to Raheem, but it gets tipped at the line anyways. Definitely interesting concept, I think, on a pretty third and manageable too to not take that. This was sort of the start of the struggles for the Dolphins, where they got to the second quarter and forgot how to play football for a little bit. This one was weird. This was the whole shot. Since the Rams were playing cover 2, Tua has to make the whole shot versus cover 2, and he did it a couple times in this game, where he reads the corner, sees that he's sitting flat, and you got to throw the corner route behind it between the safety and this corner right here. The guy's playing as a cloud, and he makes the correct read, correct throw, good accuracy, good timing on it. It just hits Waddle. I do believe Waddle after was showing like he couldn't see it after the play just by his body language, but like he was pointing at it or something. And it was weird. Like the ball did go like straight through his hands and hit his face mask. And I know we've seen Waddle have drop problems before, but I don't think I've seen it where like it just goes straight through his hands and hits his face mask. So maybe something happened where he lost the ball. Just a weird play in general, but too many mistakes like that. But I guess at least they were able to overcome their mistakes in this game. That's kind of where it goes. We get a couple negative ones here. Tua has had this problem before where he does try to like roll out of the pocket and throw slightly across his body, and it gets picked by the middle linebacker. We've seen this happen a couple times throughout his career. This one, I wonder if he just saw 56. He felt immediate pressure, and then I feel like he saw 56 open up his hips to the opposite side. So he's like, I'm just going to try to throw this to Waddle, because 56 wasn't looking at him when he was starting to release this ball. But once that happens, 56 is able to flip his hips back open and get the pick. And that's kind of been a problem I think I've seen Tua have a few times throughout his career, and that one just gets picked. And then, oh my god, I don't know what he's doing here on the tackling attempt. Gets like, thank God he didn't get like a straight knee to the head. Like he got partial leg to his head, but I think the leg also kind of hit shoulder pad, so it wasn't like a clean hit, and thank God he was fine. Like that could have been really, really bad. Please don't even try to tackle anymore. That's actually crazy. And then he had just some bad sacks. Like this one, like, isn't blocked up. Like it's blocked up pretty nicely. Like to me, this one's more on him. Like there were some other sacks where I thought the line didn't do a great job, but there's time. I know things aren't opened up and they're playing cover 2. Like everything is covered across the board down the field. But at this point, like he's got to get this ball to Jonnu. Like I thought he'd been like overall, I feel like Tua has been much better this year getting to his checkdowns. But there was some parts in this game where I think he kind of showed some struggles there, specifically in that second quarter. Like he should have got this ball to Jonnu. I don't think really any excuses there. And then he fumbles somehow. I don't know how Robert Jones didn't get this ball back, but it was a lost fumble on that specific play. And they took another bad sack here. Robert Jones does lose very quickly. Like that's just a great rep by Kobe Turner. But once this guy slips right here, you got to start to throw this away. Maybe return to the right side. Unfortunately, it was sort of like a play action with everything flowing to the left, and he had to roll to the left, and his only check down option was to the right side there. But he does have to throw this away. Just too many bad sacks. Really, that second quarter was just tough overall for the team. And that was just sort of like 3 really bad plays from him. Second half, he was, I wouldn't say flawless. There were some plays I think he would like back, but like overall was pretty good. I think this was a good sign of him feeling much more comfortable. He gets time in the pocket off the play action. They slide everything to the left. This is how you slow down pass rushers like this. He does I love the footwork in the pocket, open up one way, get back to the right. He probably would have ripped this to Waddle if Waddle didn't get knocked off his route. Waddle got knocked off by 97 there by the linebacker. And I think Tua saw that happening and was like, oh, I'm not going to hit Waddle, so he comes off of it. Even though I think Waddle does come open late, but I do understood why he came off of it. But Usually he would make this throw, but he kind of really knocked it off, and then comes back, finds Smythe. I think finding your check down and still getting like 6 yards in the play, definitely take that in those situations. But I love when the Dolphins went empty and put players in tough positions. So they go empty here, and they basically just put this linebacker in conflict, and he's just reading him. So you have Julian Hill working down the field. If this linebacker chases Julian Hill, opens up his hips, you hit Johnny Smith. If he sat down on this and sort of squeezed Jonnu, you hit Julian Hill over the middle of the field. So like Tua's just reading this guy. I love when they do this. Put this guy in conflict, make his life hard. Once he's open his hip, boom, hit Jonnu underneath. Now he gets the ball in stride, and Jonnu really got to show how good he is after the catch when he has that ability to accelerate, pick up speed, and he just bullies that poor guy. Jonnu, great yak threat. Has been one of the, I think, better pickups for the Dolphins this offseason in free agency. Has played pretty solid, been a good weapon for most of the season. Able to catch that ball, boom, bounce off multiple tackles. Almost gets in the end zone. Honestly deserved it. I kind of wish he did. But they were able to score very quickly after this. Dolphins go play action at the 1 here. Very interesting. They usually have just been running the ball on the 1. I kind of like this call because the Rams really sold out for it. It looks like they might even be bracketing Tyreek here off the ball, but they don't. This guy sees this, gets downhill like you might think it's run. It's not. Then just poor eye discipline. I believe that's Kinchins, and he gets one-on-one with Tyreek, and he just runs, the quick out, get to space. Him and Tua just be on the same page, put the ball away from him, protect him, get the touchdown. Just good work across the board there on those types of situations. Another big third down conversion. Achane in the backfield, but they motion him out. Basically turns into an empty situation where Achane becomes like the receiver on the 2 receiver side and gets a one-on-one, where you get a lot of matchups in one-on-one on empty like this. And usually you have a running back, they get one-on-one with the linebacker, you're taking that matchup all day long. Achane is such a weapon. They're even putting a safety on him, and you get to him to run his angle route basically, and he absolutely cooks him. Like, he's such an important piece to this game, even though he didn't have the best running game of the day. Like, he only had really one like real good run, and had a couple like decent ones, but most of the time it was just for nothing or negative, just because the O-line was struggling to run block versus the Rams' very good D-line. But this is just the type of weapon he is. Not too many running backs are going to beat a safety, run those routes as efficiently as he does it. So shout out Achane, such a good player for the team, and very, very big play. Now this was one of Tua's negative plays in the second half. It was a bad sack, but he was able to make up for it. So that's why this one wasn't too big of an issue. He holds on the ball too long here. Dolphins kind of motion this out. Wasn't super open. Like, he comes off of this. Like, the reason he didn't take this is because he potentially, if he sticks with this side, could have thrown this with anticipation to Tyreek. But if you just look at the numbers of this side, they have a 4-on-2. So it makes sense like why he comes off of that pretty quickly just based on numbers. Potentially could have hit Smythe here. I feel like he could have. Maybe just didn't see it or feel it super well on this play. But yeah, I think was just a bad play from Tua. But he did a very good job responding. This is the next snap. 3rd and like 20 at this point. He just took himself out of field goal range. Dolphins slide protection to the left. They leave Verse unblocked. I think Mostert actually makes a mistake here not picking up Verse. But Lamb goes for 56, but Lamb doesn't even end up rushing. I don't love the protection call here. I think it should have been communicated, potentially, because I feel like Lamb should have just taken Verse, and Mostert should have taken the linebacker. I feel like they should have gone big on big. And, B.O.B., back on back, big on big, but maybe that just wasn't the call. Some clear miscommunication there. So it wasn't like Tua knew this guy was going to come free, because it looks like it was just a miscommunication. But Tua feels him come free, spins out of it, looking down the field. Now Mostert leaks out, makes a good heads-up play. Mostert was, by the way, pretty much benched. He became your kickoff returner. He didn't get any carries in the game. He only played 3 offensive snaps, and he had 2 catches. And they were both pretty big third down conversion catches. There was a defensive holding on the play, like Jonnu got held down the field. But this was such an insane play, off script. Give yourselves time, don't panic. Now once Mostert comes open, give him a good ball release. Rolling out to your right when you're a lefty. Just an insanely good play that allows the Dolphins to get in field goal range, and they were able to kick a field goal and go up 2 scores at that point in the game. And then just clutch play after clutch play. Tua feels pressure, another play off script. 91's coming free. Armstead loses here to Verse. Verse is a good player, really good rookie. So Tua just has to escape the pocket very, very quickly, gets out to the left, and this is where you get OBJ. OBJ throw him the ball on a third down conversion, which almost gets messed up because look when Tua's starting to release it, and OBJ is just starting to like turn around and look away. Fortunately, he turns right back around, so good instincts by OBJ to feel that he was going to be throw it, but if he turned around and then didn't like snap his head back around instantly, that could have been bad, but makes a nice clutch catch. Great job off script, and this is the final offensive drive of the game. This is how you kind of, put the team away. Allow yourself, basically put yourself in a chance to, run the clock out and potentially get down the field and kick a field goal at least to make it a 2-score game again, because they were up 8 at this point. Then a really ballsy call. I was expecting them to try to run the clock out. They get cover 2, which they've been facing all game. They run an inverted 2, so where the corner's playing as a deep 2, the deep half, and the safety's playing as the flat. He's just, look at Tua manipulate with his eyes and body language, give him that little move right there to freeze this safety, and then throw the whole shot. Like I've been talking about, you got to be able to throw this ball outside the numbers, in between the safety and the corner, and he rips this with great timing, like he's throwing with great timing. This safety is able to peel off, and then the ball placement, and then great job from Washington too. Because a lot of times when you run like smash, because they're running smash concept here, a lot of times the receiver will keep going towards the sideline, but Malik, as soon as he cuts the outside, he snaps his head around and feels that like he should potentially sit in between these triangle of defenders, which he does. Tua puts it there exactly where he needs to be, and for a rookie to be on the same page with your quarterback like that, make a nice catch, really good placement to put it low, protect himself, doesn't give this guy a chance to make a play. That's a huge ballsy call in this game, and that kind of puts the game away at that point, because after that they had a couple runs, got in field goal range. Jason Sanders, who had a good game, made some field goals. But like overall, some really good plays, some not so good plays in the second quarter specifically, but they made them when it mattered most. It definitely wasn't their best performance, I think. Since Tua's returned, it was probably not the offense's best performance, but they did enough to win. And the defense, who you'll see later today, the defense played really, really good. Like, best game of the season, good. But shout out some of the rookies. Malik Washington, Chop Robinson, as you'll see in that video, was amazing. I might do a Chop Robinson video just on the week because he probably had his best game of the season. But overall, like what I saw, I didn't really have any issues too much with the play calling. I feel like some people wanted McDaniel to run the ball more, but running the ball just wasn't working. Maybe certain situations overall, I wasn't, like, there could have been different things, but I didn't really blame the play calling too much in this game. There was more of an execution issue that I think they kind of struggled with. And Robert Jones was down with an injury. Lester Cotton came in. It wasn't like Jones was playing great anyways, but definitely not good to see the offensive line injuries, because I just think playing together as a unit allows for consistency, and when you have a lot of injuries, that can ruin that. But overall, hopefully players can get some healthy across the board. Austin Jackson on IR, so we won't see him for a few games. Next 2 games are very, very winnable. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins are 5-6, and then they go into Green Bay on Thanksgiving, and that will be like the game of the season for them. It will kind of make or break the season. If they're able to beat Green Bay in Green Bay somehow, they actually would be very, very much in the mix. If they obviously still have to take care of business versus the Raiders and Patriots. Can't just treat them like those are automatic wins. But they have, like, I believe the second easiest schedule left at this point. So, and their tough games are not unwinnable games either. But honestly, good showing versus the Rams. Would have been nice if they were able to take care of business versus the Bills, Cardinals, Colts, whatever it was. Just even winning one of those games, they'd be in a much better spot. But it was nice to finally get a win. So if you guys are new, make sure to come in and subscribe. Hey.